What's up, everybody? This is the Man of Steel, Mike Verner, and you are now watching Toilet Side Wrestling Talk.
Hi, this is Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies, and welcome to another episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest began his life in Chicago and then moved to Des Moines, Iowa. In 2010, he began wrestling in such promotions as 3XW Wrestling, Windy City Pro Wrestling, Dynamite Pro Wrestling, Metro Pro Wrestling Phoenix, to name a few. He's held the 3XW Pure Championship and has held the 3XW Tag Team Championships 4 times, including 3 with Mad Dog McDowell. Shared the ring with the likes of Mike Outlaw, Nikki Sent, Jason Strife, Ryan Slade, Rich Maxwell, again to name a few. In 2015, my guest established the Black Wrestlers Matter movement, and then this past August was the first Black Wrestlers Matter show, which raised money for underprivileged students in Des Moines through the Knowledge is Power Foundation. So I'd like to welcome today's guest, someone who doesn't know he wants my children yet, but hopefully by the end of this interview, he'll feel badly enough for me that he'll take them on as his own. I give you the American Fury, John West. Hey, John.
What's up?
How you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I didn't realize I wrestled so many different promotions.
Oh yeah, you've been all over the place. You got to give yourself more credit. Jeez.
I'm not that kind of person.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna try and keep this not all over the place, but that might happen. But I'll try not to. The Black Wrestlers Matter movement. You started that in 2015. What was the thing that made you decide that push over that I'm gonna start this?
Well, I mean, every time I wrestled a show, especially here in Iowa, there was really no other Black wrestlers besides me. And I was like, well, wrestling is one of the only sports where, somebody had a joke once that said wrestling's kind of fake, quote unquote, because it's the only sport in the world where Black people don't dominate. so
That's hilarious.
I was like, it's kind of weird that we have all these Black athletes around here in all the other sports, but wrestling is the only one that I don't see us represented very well.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure why. Because I have no idea. I think that's how it's been throughout history. I'm slowly trying to change that. We're all trying to change that right now. But
sure. I'm
not sure why.
So were you involved in creating the Black Wrestlers Matter show?
Yes, it was. I had someone that was helping me with sponsorship stuff, but it was pretty much all my idea to get everything going.
And how long did that take you to from the idea in your mind to the actual show?
I wanted to. So at first, it would just start off as just me selling T-shirts and just a Black Wrestlers Matter. Then I was
Sure.
So I was like, well, because I know there was supposed to be that For the Culture show at WrestleMania weekend, and I was like, that didn't happen. So I was like, so in June I decided I'm gonna do a show. So pretty much I met the idea to do the show. I called some buildings the next day, and then I announced the show the day after that. So from the time of getting the show going to a couple days later, the show was happening.
Wow.
So it all happened pretty fast.
So was there a big turnout, or was this without fans?
Well, no, we limited to 300 people, and we had 300 people show up, and we had about 300 to 400 live streams. So.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Jeez.
Good. Yeah. I would think 100's a lot. So did it mean a lot to actually wrestle on the show?
At first, I wasn't going to, but because that's not the kind of person I am. I look at it the show. I look at the show as my spotlight. I don't really care about having a match. But I was like, it's the first one. The first show, I have to wrestle on this one because it's a pretty big deal. And it was exhausting trying to run a show and wrestle on a show. My entire body cramped up all day. It was terrible.
Did you grow a greater appreciation for people who can juggle that?
Yes, I did. Because I know a lot of people who promote and wrestle on their show, and it's just I respect them a lot more because of that.
Did you get any sleep the days leading up to it?
The day before the show, I couldn't really sleep very well because I was just nervous and excited to get everything. Not really nervous, just excited to get everything going. The day after the show, my phone kept blowing up because people were thanking me and oh, this show was great, thank you. So I had to put my phone on vibrate, otherwise I would have been up all night.
Oh God, I'm sure. So is it true that you're going to do a second one on Juneteenth in 2021?
Yes, at Woolies here in Des Moines.
Oh, okay. So you have plenty of time to get this ready.
Yes, I did. So last time we only had 2 months to plan it. This time I have like almost a whole year. So.
Yeah, that's great. There's no reason it shouldn't be amazing. Now,
Yeah.
How do you go about like finding the talent to perform?
Well, it's funny because like I say, with me being the only black wrestler, really the only black wrestler in Iowa,
Yeah.
it was kind of hard for like, unless I worked on a show with somebody, I really didn't really know who they were. As far as like who's the best wrestler out there. So
Sure.
I kind of went to other wrestlers like, hey, who's a good guy who you like to see on the show, and a lot of them recommended a lot of people for me, so it made it a lot easier.
Okay, and then some of those people will also be on the next show.
I had a joke that said like, whoever won their match at the first show, automatically will be on the second show. And since I didn't win my match, I said I might not be on the second one. But
you have to wear a costume.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back some years to Little John West. So you started in Chicago. Where in Chicago did you grow up?
Well, my grandma had a house on Home and Carroll, like on the west side, but we kind of moved around a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved around a lot.
And then you guys, why'd you leave Chicago for Des Moines?
Well, me, my mom, and 2 of my 3 sisters, we moved here just because my mom wanted to change. She wanted to change the scenery. She was getting tired of Chicago. She felt like there were really no opportunities to do anything else, so she decided to come here. You know, I was a freshman in high school.
Oh gosh, was that hard?
Not, I mean, it was always pretty much me, my mom, and my sisters. So, I mean, it wasn't really that difficult for me to move. I mean, not really.
What about the difference between like the population in Chicago schools as opposed to the population in like Iowa schools? Was it like very different, less diverse?
Well, so Chicago, yeah, it was more Chicago schools. A lot more I didn't really have like a white person in my class when I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
It was always like people that looked like me. So when I moved here, that was kind of a culture shock because I mean there was so many different races and people I had never seen that before.
And how did you acclimate to it?
I mean, I've always been like it's hard to believe, but I've always been like a quiet kid by myself. So I'm pretty good at making friends, but I was usually pretty shy because I didn't know anybody. So I played football and stuff, so that's how I got to meet people.
Yeah, that was my next question. Were you athletic as a kid?
I did football, I did track for a little bit, I did wrestling. Yeah, I did a bunch of different things. I played basketball sometimes in my free time. Yeah.
Do you think this is just a separate question? Because I lived in Chicago until March, and I moved down to Champaign, and like I was telling someone, like it's a lot slower lifestyle than living in Chicago. Is it like that in Iowa, where it's not as fast paced and?
Yeah. Well, I always tell people like when they come here that Iowa's like a state where you have to find stuff to do. Chicago things just kind of happen.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's just, yeah. So like here you can like it's always funny like when I moved back to Chicago in 2014 for a little bit.
Okay.
Like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, there's people all out and about like this in the afternoon. But here in Des Moines or here in Iowa, like once 10 o'clock at night hits, you really don't see anybody out.
Oh,
everyone's at home. Everyone's like at home or at the bar. It's like you don't really see many cars out or people out on the streets.
Yeah, that's what it's like here. Even though I don't live like on campus, so it's very quiet, and I like it a lot more than living in like the real fast-paced, traffic-y city. All right, let's get back to you. When did wrestling come onto your radar?
Well, cousin, like so. I mean, I've always been like I've always like kind of been athletic, and I've always been like, I was always drawn to like superheroes and stuff like that. So one day I was at my cousin's house and he turned on Raw and I started watching it and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like I've never seen it before. And then I was hooked from day one.
Had you ever heard about wrestling, like pro wrestling before then?
Well, I knew like what WWE was and stuff like that, but I had never like got into it like I did when my cousin first showed it to me.
And then what then made you decide that you were going to pursue it?
Like I said, I've always like say from the first moment I saw it, I was like, I have to do this. It shows athleticism. I have like I'm kind of like a showman naturally. So wrestling, I was like wrestling was a perfect thing for me because I get to be an athlete. I get to be a showman. Like there's nothing else I could do on the planet that can be like wrestling. So
what's the first step once you decide that this is what you want to do? What's the first thing you do?
So it was kind of hard because when I graduated high school, I looked for like I didn't know what independent wrestling was. I had no idea. I thought like you just go to WWE and you just start wrestling.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, he was friends with a guy named Chad Milan, who's cousins with Todd Countryman, the guy who owns 3XW.
Okay,
so
sure.
We went to a show, and so after the show, my buddy and I got in the ring and started wrestling around a little bit. We didn't know any better. We were stupid kids. So a guy, Steve Billy, came up to me and asked me if I wanted to train and wrestle, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I would love to. You know, I had no idea what it entailed. I thought you know, just go in the ring and start doing stuff. I had no idea what training was or anything like that. So
sure.
I went to college for a year and a half and came back, and I signed up to train, and I trained for like maybe 2 or 3 months before I started wrestling.
Oh my gosh. Is it everyday training?
No, well, we mostly had like on weekends and stuff because we didn't have like we didn't have a consistent place to set the ring up, so it was we kind of just trained wherever we could.
Have you set a ring up before?
Oh, before that, no, I had not.
No, but you have set up a ring.
Oh, I still set up rings to this day. 10 years in, and I still.
How long does it take?
It depends on how many people are motivated to do it.
Okay, can one person put it together by themselves?
Technically, yes, but it would probably take a while.
Okay. Okay, so you have a trainer. Your first day of training, was it anything that you expected? Were you prepared for it at all?
Well, when I first started, I was kind of a little cocky because I was like, "Oh, I can do this. This is easy. Like this is nothing." So the class I was in, there was like maybe 5 or 6 of us, and I was like, so I already knew how to bump because I did a little backyard wrestling, so my bumping was already good. Okay. So pretty much after we go through our drills, I'd drill for like 5 minutes and I'd be on the apron for the rest of that time because the people in my class didn't really know what they were doing yet. So it's kind of like I was kind of upset because I'm like, this is stuff is easy and these guys aren't getting it, so now I got to sit out and wait until they catch up.
It's like the kid who's like the advanced student in school who's so bored because everybody's learning at a normal pace, and he's
yes.
So it only took you 2 months from training to your first match.
I mean, I had matches in training, because I knew how to bump and I knew how to bump. So if you know how to bump, you'll get a match pretty quick because all you got to do is go out there, listen, and bump, and don't really do much else. So, a couple months, it was a couple months. A couple months after I started training, I had a practice match at one of our shows, like outdoor shows we had against my trainer.
And did who tells you that you're ready? Do you say I'm ready for my first? No, the trainer does.
Your trainer tells you if you're ready or not. Like even if you think you're ready, you're probably not ready.
So do you remember walking out to the ring for the first time?
Oh, I was nervous as hell. I was because I'm like, what if I wasn't worried about screwing up. I was just worried about, okay, I don't want to go out there and like it looks dumb and like think that, like I say, I was cocky. I was like, oh, I don't want to go out here and screw up something because I think I can do this. We've been training for this for a while. Like if I screw up, then this might be my only opportunity to ever get in the ring again.
Yes, it's your one shot. And are you paying attention to the audience at all during this first match, or are you just
no? So it's funny because like I didn't really like even nowadays I don't notice the crowd at all. Like once I get in the ring, I'm always focused on the ring. I don't really even pay attention to what's going on outside the ring at all.
Yeah.
The only time I ever do that, like sometimes if I'm in a tag match, I'll do it. If I'm on the apron, or when I was a bad guy for like a year or so. I mean, I was more like vocal with the crowd, but like as far as like me getting involved with, like I don't even like I can hear them, but I don't really acknowledge them. I usually focus on what's going on in the ring.
Okay, I have a question now. So you're part of the American Bulldogs of Mad Dog McDowell.
Yes.
Did you guys know each other before? I mean, you guys have had a ton of success together. Did you guys know each other prior to, joining together?
Not really. I mean, my first show, he kind of gave me some advice, but we really didn't. We weren't really that. I knew him from 3XW, but we weren't really close or anything. And they just kind of randomly threw us together, and it worked wonders.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, yeah, it worked amazing. But then I saw in 2014 you had a dog collar match against him.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So we had there was a show where because I was moving back to Chicago, so they weren't sure if I was going to be able to come back or not. Okay. So they kind of like turned me heel. They're like, well, we don't know if John will be back, so we can't really get to keep the Bulldogs going. So I kind of became a jerk and turned on Mad Dog, and so I kept like attacking him and running away. So we had a dog collar match to obviously keep me with him. And like that was probably one of my best matches of my entire career. Just probably the most funnest time I had.
Was it the hardest match of your career too?
Oh, it was very, very easy. Like, Mad Dog and Mark and I have such good chemistry that like I can literally leave the room and I know exactly what we're going to do in our match.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, so that must be like a relief, like less pressure, like going. Is it fun, like wrestling like your friend?
Oh, it is. It's like I think like when you wrestle your friend, you kind of like get a little bit more violent than you would if you were to wrestle somebody that you're not close with.
You can take more liberties.
Yes, exactly.
Was there blood from this match?
Oh no, there was no blood. It was just just a basic chain match, and it's funny because leading up to the match, they had a bunch of stuff with his wife and kid, like his wife and daughter, because I'm like a brother to him. So like, so towards the end of the match, his wife got involved in the match. Kind of hit me in the balls and like.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Wait, did you give her any like, all right, don't hit me like that hard between there, or does it go all out?
It's Corey. I just say, Corey, just go ahead. Like I'll protect myself. I'll protect myself. Just do your thing.
Oh, gee. And like, so in the ring, once that happens, do you feel like what it typically would feel like, or do you have so much adrenaline that like you push through that?
Oh, it's funny because like after she hit me, the crowd kind of like went crazy, and I was like, oh yeah, we got him. We got him.
I'd be done for the night if that happened to me.
It was great because people see me and Mark together all the time. They're like, oh, there's people messaging me, John, why'd you turn on Mark? Why'd you do this? I thought you guys were friends. And I just was like I gotta look out for myself. I gotta look at what's best for me. And they all ate it up. They thought like I was really just being like a jerk and they want to be with him anymore.
That's hilarious. Okay, so like living in Iowa and working like in the Midwest, are there like racist fans and promoters and wrestlers like more so in the Midwest? Like,
I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't say. I think the Midwest is probably pretty good as far as like as that. I mean, there's of course no one's gonna be racist to me directly to my face, and then that'll be suicide.
Yeah, seriously. But like you like fans never like yell crazy stuff like
like I said that'll be suicide. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think people and fans respect me enough that they wouldn't do that. Even if they did think that way, they wouldn't say it to me, or they wouldn't say it where they know I could hear it.
Does it ever come like do people ever experience it from like a promoter?
Like I said, me personally, I haven't experienced promoters that doing being anything racist to me towards me at all, because I'm the kind of guy where I would call them out on it. Like I would.
Okay.
Because like I think most people like me in wrestling, so I like. So if I say, hey, this guy's been a jackass, I'm pretty sure they'd be like, okay, well, John doesn't. He likes everybody, so
yeah.
If he says that, then maybe it's true.
Okay. All right. Do you have children?
Yes, I have 2 daughters.
Okay. Is it hard being a pro wrestler and a dad?
Nah. Well, my daughters don't live with me, so it's actually
okay.
Yeah.
Do they come to your shows?
My oldest daughter seen me wrestle a bunch of times. My youngest daughter hasn't seen me wrestle yet. She's seen YouTube, but she hasn't seen me wrestle in person.
Is there a reason for that, or like you're waiting until she's a certain age?
No, it's just she hasn't had the opportunity yet.
Does your older daughter like look at you as like a superhero?
Nah, she doesn't. Like she
really?
She loves her dad, but she's like, it's like whatever. Like my dad likes having fun. Yeah, she doesn't look at me like that.
Like she doesn't like go to your match and like when everybody's cheering for you, she doesn't like, oh man, that's my dad.
No, she's kind of shy. So like when she's at a show, she's kind of like by herself, like in a like just like not saying anything, just kind of watching the show. She says she has fun and she enjoys it, but she's kind of. I mean, she was at my show in August, so.
Oh, cool.
She said she had a good time, but she's just kind of like she doesn't look at me like any different.
Yeah. Like if she calls you, like she won't ask, hey, did you wrestle last night or how was your match?
No, she won't do that.
Oh shit! If I had you as my dad, well, we'll work on that. That's another episode. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go in a moment. Would you mind me asking you 5 random yes or no questions? You can just say yes or no or elaborate.
Right.
Nothing inappropriate.
Inappropriate is fun sometimes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Have you ever ridden a horse bareback?
No.
Okay. For $13,500, would you go on a 10-day camping trip with a cannibal?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever eaten something that's not food, liquid, or medicine?
No.
Okay. Have you ever wet your bed as an adult? And spoiler alert, I have once.
Yes.
Okay. And are you scared of aliens?
No.
Okay, you passed. Flying colors. Jeez, I've never had that happen. John, are you going to be wrestling anytime coming up?
So this Sunday in Omaha, I'll be wrestling for Liberty Wrestling, and it's like a newer promotion. And then Saturday, 7th and 8th, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be in Chicago for Wrestle League.
Oh, nice.
They're going to be doing like some pre-tape, some tournament. But they're going to like no crowd, no fans. And then November 14th, I'll be wrestling in Hammond, Indiana for championship wrestling.
Oh, nice. Is it by the casino?
I'm not sure. Like, it sucks. Cause, like I know the promotion off the top of my head, but I can't think of like the exact name. But
yeah, you can probably see the casino from wherever it is. It's pretty.
Yeah, I'll be right. Yeah. Hammond, Indiana is where I'll be at on November 14th.
Awesome. All right. Well, I thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. We didn't start negotiating about you taking possession of my children, but again, another episode. We'll work on that. I'll bring a lawyer on next time, so things go smoothly. But until we talk next, thank you so much. I hope you stay healthy and safe, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
All right, John. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.